Let me ask you this. Have you ever sent a text message to your friend hundreds of miles away? Have you ever used a wireless charger to charge your phone? Have you ever enjoyed a sunny day inside your room, watching Netflix in air conditioning? If the answer is yes, then you, my friend, have used technology that owes its existence to Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday was born on 22nd September 1791 in Newington, London. His family was not well off, and Faraday did not have any formal education. At the age of 14, he became an apprentice at a bookstore. There, he used to read books for years, learning about the wonders of science. He was particularly fond of electricity and decided that he wanted to become a scientist, capable of one day writing his own book. Faraday used to attend lectures by Humphrey Davy, an English chemist and a member of the Royal Institution and Royal Society. He was so amazed by his lectures that he binded all his notes from the lectures into a book and gave it to Davy as a present. Faraday used to think Davy as a mentor and had a lot of respect for him. In 1813, Humphrey Davy seriously injured himself in a laboratory accident involving nitrogen trichloride. Nitrogen trichloride, also known as trichloroamine, is a yellow, oily, and highly explosive liquid with a pungent smell. It explodes to give nitrogen and chlorine gas, being highly sensitive to light, heat, and even moderate shock. In fact, Pierre Louis Dulong, who first prepared the compound in 1812, lost two fingers and an eye in two explosions. Humphrey Davy was temporarily blinded in his accident and needed an assistant. He was reminded of Faraday and appointed him as a chemical assistant at the Royal Institution. During his time as a chemical assistant to Davy, Faraday made several contributions in the realm of chemistry. He discovered new compounds and studied diffusion of gases, a process more fully revealed by Thomas Graham and Joseph Loschmidt. He worked extensively in the field of electrochemistry, discovering laws of electrolysis and popularizing terminologies like cathode, anode, electrode, and ions. He also developed an early form of a Bunsen burner and discovered benzene. But what Faraday is really known for is his contribution to electromagnetism. One of his first experiments in the field was the construction of a voltaic pile with pennies. The voltaic pile was the first electric battery ever made that could produce a direct and continuous electric current. It was first invented by Alessandro Volta in 1799. In the 19th century, nobody really knew much about the relation between electricity and magnetism until in 1820, a Danish physicist named Hans Christian Ørsted discovered that electric currents can create magnetic fields. The story that Ørsted accidentally discovered the relation during a lecture when he saw a compass needle deflecting near a wire is actually a myth. He had been searching a link between the phenomena for almost 2 years, and for his discovery, Ørsted was awarded the Copley Medal in 1820. In 1821, Humphrey Davy and a British scientist, William Wollaston, tried to use the connection between electricity and magnetism to make an electric motor. They weren't able to figure it out, and as a joke, Davy challenged Faraday to come up with a solution. And he did. A few weeks later, Faraday had invented the first electric motor based on the principle of what we now call the Lorentz force, though it was formulated 74 years later in 1895. The basic principle suggests that a conductor with current flowing through it, when placed in a perpendicular magnetic field, experiences a force perpendicular to both the magnetic field and the direction of the current. This force applies a torque about the axis of rotation, which provides mechanical work. In excitement, Faraday published his results without acknowledging the works of Davy and Wollaston. Given the fact that Davy was jealous of Faraday because of his succession and his background, there was some controversy within the Royal Society, which strained their relations over time. Humphrey Davy was angry about this situation and gave Faraday an impossible task. He gave Faraday a piece of Bavarian glass used in telescopes and asked him to reverse engineer it. It was manufactured by a secret and very complicated process, and Davy knew that he could never do it. During the next several years, Faraday worked on perfecting his recipe but never succeeded. But he continued his experimental work on optics and electromagnetism, and his greatest discovery was yet to come. In 1829, Davy suffered a stroke and died. 2 years later, in 1831, Faraday succeeded him as head of laboratory and was free to pursue anything. He began conducting a series of experiments in which he discovered electromagnetic induction. He noticed that when he passed a current through a coil, a momentarily current is induced in an adjacent coil not connected to it directly. He had found the same thing if he moved a magnet close to the second coil. Michael Faraday had established that a changing magnetic field can induce a current in a conductor. This is known as Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, which is used in dynamos and electric generators to generate all kinds of power. In his later years, he tried to use the piece of Bavarian glass given to him by Davy and showed that in presence of a magnetic field, light can be isolated into a single wave rather than spreading out randomly, a concept known as polarization. He also proposed that electromagnetic forces extended into empty space, but his concept of lines of electric and magnetic flux were largely rejected by fellow scientists. This is where Faraday wished he had an understanding of advanced mathematics. Even though it provided a great way to visualize these fields, he was unable to explain his results in the form of mathematical equations. But luck was with Faraday this time as he met a young, wealthy, and educated Scottish physicist James Clerk Maxwell. He had studied Faraday's work on lines of forces and translated his concepts into a set of differential equations known as Maxwell's equations. These equations are the basis of all electromagnetic phenomena in the universe and has helped us in countless ways. Electronics and communication systems around the world are designed about the discoveries of Faraday and Maxwell. Maxwell went further into the field of electromagnetism and made revolutionary discoveries in electromagnetic waves and contributed the basic ideas of quantum mechanics. But that is a story for another day. To quote late APJ Abdul Kalam sir, Faraday's life started with difficulties, but as a great scientist, he met each difficulty with perseverance and conviction. He was given impossible tasks, which he undertook as challenges and opportunities. He started his life in a poor household, and even without any formal education, he was able to become one of the most successful and influential personalities in science. All of that was possible because of his interest in the subject and his determination in pursuing it. He truly is the greatest experimental scientist in history.